ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
Welcome into this Hoist the Colors. It's a Friday, big sports weekend on the way. We've got conference tournaments ongoing. Selection Sunday on the horizon. ECU baseball back in town hosting UPenn for the three-game series. Very winnable series, but also Pirates can't take any game lightly with not much margin for error they've found themselves in after the up-and-down non-conference portion. NFL free agency continues on. We're also getting later into the NHL, NBA seasons. Those playoffs around the corner. World Baseball Classic. Got some great games ahead this weekend. There is a lot happening. We're also on today's show going to dive into the ECU safety position, better, worse, even, question mark. We'll break that down in our next segment. We're going to start off today just talking sports, like a couple bros. It's because we got Bobby Harward in studio. He's brought to you by Sup Dogs today. Bobby, how you doing?
Doing fantastic. Excited for a busy sports weekend, as you mentioned. I actually need to get back locked into sports.
Lock in.
I took a hiatus this past week. I don't know if you watched Night Agent or not, but the new season of that came out on Netflix. It's pretty intense. It's right up my alley in terms of action shows. Maybe a little over the top, maybe a lot over the top, but it's pretty intense, pretty action-packed. So I was locked into that really this week once the kids went down and have not paid. Dude, I had forgotten conference tournament play started for basketball. And I was listening to DC Sports Radio, getting some info on the Commanders, and they were talking about Maryland playing in the Big Ten tournament. And I was like, holy smoke, that has started.
You should be kicked out of the state of North Carolina, where college basketball tournaments were invented. We are deporting you to Maryland, where your family came from. That's where you belong. Sorry.
I do have to ask. And by the way, I will say I'm not the biggest college basketball guy until March Madness begins, but I will say there's nothing better than me pulling up my computer, getting some work done with just random college basketball tournament games on in the background. But you did say that the World Baseball Classic was your number one most anticipated event back when we did the rankings. So how much have you been watching?
You know, I have watched until I fall asleep at night.
There you go.
So I have been doing that. As I mentioned, I think last week, I go to bed pretty early because I wake up in the morning quite early, normally between the 5 and 6 o'clock window, sometimes a little bit earlier depending on the workout. But dude, Mark DeRosa, what in the world? I know y'all talked about this some.
Did y'all see he doubled down yesterday and said they were 2-0 going into the Italy game when they were 3-0? I mean, what is this guy doing?
Dude, and I love Mark DeRosa because I love his breakdowns on MLB Network. They're awesome, and I was really excited he was named the manager for this team again. But good night, dude. That would have been a colossal failure if Italy didn't pull through and beat Mexico. But we talked about it, too, going into the World Baseball Classic start. Like, do we need to take them seriously? And sure enough, we do.
So in free agency, your Commanders are signing everybody. So you're wearing your Hail hat today, H-A-I-L, for those listening. And are you excited? You know, we talk about a lot. You can overspend in free agency, and it's hard to build through free agency, but certainly you can get better. How are you feeling about the Commanders?
Dude, I'm feeling fantastic. I'd actually felt this way going into free agency. Y'all are going to think I'm insane. But I've kind of in my gut, and I've never felt this way before, in my gut, Commanders will be in the Super Bowl next year. I just think...
We need to shut it down.
No, I'm telling you, hear me out. As good as Jaden Daniels is, and then as injury-ridden as we were last year, like there's no way you have back-to-back just injury-riddled seasons like that. Like that just doesn't happen. I don't think this team was great. I think there were a lot of flaws in their defense last year, but I think defensively, the new scheme they're bringing in, I think a lot of the pieces they brought in free agency fit. I'm not like overly excited and like one guy's Oweh or whatever is going to be the guy that puts us over the top. I just think the way the circle of life in the NFL works, I feel like Washington is due?
For them, it just comes down to health. And I mean, I think they've got a shot to win that division, but it's just and how quickly can that defensive personnel come together? Because I do feel like they have improved a lot, defensive personnel wise. Like last year, they just didn't have the personnel.
No.
So they should be better. Now it just comes down to Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels. The other concern is 2 new coordinators. That does concern me, but. Dude, people love Dan Quinn. I think it was his 3rd year in Atlanta. They went to the Super Bowl, and it's his 3rd year right now in Washington.
Bobby's buying into the offseason hype, baby.
I'm buying
hype
in.
Machine is rolling.
I'm telling you, I may put a futures bet in. I mean, my odds got to be incredible right now if they've released them.
I'm pretty sure they updated them. I'll pull them up. I don't know. As a non-Commanders fan, Philip, are you buying this, or is he crazy?
I think he's drinking the. I know. I just can't drink Haterade in this. What's the hope? Smoking the hopium. That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, smoking the hopium. Look, Bobby, we talked about it going into last year. The team was going to take a little bit of a step back, and I think you guys have filled a lot of those holes. But a lot of times when you fill those holes, it takes half a year to gel. Now, at the end of the day, once you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. But I just see you guys, due to that, early season, obviously we don't know the schedule, just not being fully reaching your potential. You're probably going to be seated behind the NFC West winner, and going to LA or going to Seattle is going to worry me, especially teams who are more playoff experienced. I see where you're coming from, but I think this might be a 2027 kind of thing here, not a 2026 kind of thing. I understand the pieces are there. Again, I just don't know if you're ready to go win 14 games. You're probably going to win 11 just due to some early season struggles, and that's going to put you playing some tough road playoff games.
Well, the other thing is we do line up with the 2 best divisions in football, the NFC West and the AFC South.
AFC West's got to be up there.
Are they? I mean, Texans, Jacksonville, Indianapolis was hot until Danny Dimes went down. I'm missing one. Tennessee is on the upswing.
They're on the upswing.
They're on the ups. They can't go anywhere else but up.
Did y'all see the new Titans tease their uniforms or whatever?
I love them.
Yeah, I think they look pretty sweet. Commanders, by the way, I'm pretty sure my math's right here. 19th best odds to win the Super Bowl, plus 4,500. So, hey, if you want to get some decent return, Bobby, it's there. And they
my statement was they make the Super Bowl, not necessarily win the Super Bowl.
I mean, if they make it, they got to win it.
Yeah, I hope so.
The Eagles plus 1,700. The Cowboys just ahead at plus 2,500, and then the Giants at plus 7,500. Panthers still near the bottom, although they have improved quite a bit. Still like 23rd in the odds after free agency.
I'm surprised they're that low, just because the fact that a lot of people are now picking them to win the division, and the division's still. I mean, the Saints will probably be the front runner, but it's not a great division.
No.
Are the Falcons and Jets battling for the dumbest quarterback decisions? I mean, it just.
Yeah. So what are the Jets even doing? We haven't gotten James Giglio on this week. They got Geno Smith back or something like that?
They got Geno back. There was rumor that Frank Reich wanted Carson Wentz back in New York. And then Atlanta obviously got Penix and Tua, which, I mean, ultimately they signed Tua to a league minimum or whatever, but just, and I know it's different regimes there. The consecutive quarterback decisions, though, are just mind-blowing.
Lane Smith in the chat says, this all sounds well and good till the Eagles ruin your dreams.
Lane, the Eagles are on the downswing. They are falling off a cliff right now.
I'm just sad we don't have Isaiah here, Cowboys fans, who also throw shade at Commanders going to the Super Bowl pick. There's only been one team that has not signed an outside free agent. I already told Bobby. Who do you think it is, Philip?
Is it Denver?
It is. The Denver Broncos are just like, we're going to run it back. They still have $20 million in cap space, so my theory / hopium is that they are trying to make a big trade for a receiver like A.J. Brown or somebody in that realm. Because otherwise I don't know what they're restructuring all these contracts, saving a bunch of money. And to their credit, they have signed, it's not like they're not signing anybody. They're just re-signing their own guys. They re-signed Justin Strnad and Alex Singleton. They're starting linebackers. They let Drake Greenlaw go, who's good but injury-prone. Only played half of last season. They brought back J.K. Dobbins on a cheap deal. When he was healthy last year, he was the third most efficient running back in football. They also have re-signed like their whole tight end room. So I don't love it, but also, they were really good. And Bo Nix should get better. They were still very young on offense. They need a difference maker offensively somewhere, and I just don't know if they're going to get it. So I am glad they didn't go sign another. Like, they don't need to go sign another wide receiver 3 because they have like 5 of those dudes already.
What would you be willing to give up for A.J. Brown, draft capital-wise?
2 first?
Really?
What's this contract situation? I'd have to know more. At least 1 first. I mean, for me, I think if you give Denver a true wide receiver 1, they have a complete team. They've got a great
under
defense.
Contract through 2029.
I mean, I would probably be. 2 firsts is a lot. Definitely this year's first because it's back end first rounder and maybe a second. But I think it would take, honestly, probably 2 firsts. So,
the thing is, normally I don't like doing that, Steven, but you're kind of that away from being a legit contender. And again, as long as you play to your abilities,
and stay healthy.
You're giving up the 30th pick.
Yeah, so you're
and
basically
then next year
rounder.
the same thing.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's not like you're some dog water team. Oh, here's the 9th pick in the draft.
And Denver, under this regime, they obviously gave up way too much for Russell Wilson, but they have drafted well in the middle rounds. And how sustainable is that? I don't know, but they have several starters on this team that were drafted in the middle rounds that have developed. So I trust their draft plan. I do worry about A.J. Brown being a locker room problem, but I do feel like Sean Payton has the personality to handle that.
I agree with that, yeah. And looking at his cap hit next year would be 23.3, which it sounds like y'all will have the room for with all these restructures. Then it goes to 22.7, 27.5, and 29.3. And according to SpotTrack, or however you pronounce it, there's an out in 2027 too if he is a turd bird.
So I don't know. Has anybody, obviously the Commanders, really changed their outlook? I guess the Vikings signing Kyler Murray, does that interest you guys at all? I feel like the Vikings have a decent team if they could hit on quarterback. I just don't. Kyler Murray just feels like the most 9-8 quarterback, 8-9 quarterback ever.
You say that, but they've had to let go of a lot of defensive guys because of their cap situation. Yeah. I was actually listening. The Saints forever have been able to kick the can down the road, and they were talking about, this podcast was talking about teams like the Saints, the Vikings, and the Colts, and how the NFL as a whole is less and less kicking
deferring money.
Yeah, those teams are deferring it. So the NFL is kind of learning, hey, unless you are spot on with everything, that strategy doesn't really work out. Puts you in a bind, and now we're seeing that the Colts have had to cut people. They had to trade Michael Pittman to keep Alec Pierce, and the Vikings had let go of a ton of defensive guys. They're about to trade one of their best edge rushers too, which Lane Smith's Eagles may get.
Speaking of the Eagles, Mark Miller, host of the Morning Rush on 107.9, just texted in and said, "Tell Igo to keep his damn hands off A.J. Brown."
If you want to continue to have fights on the sideline between your head coach and A.J. Brown, that's fine, Mark. But we'll gladly take him. He can fight his way to the end zone in Denver. We'll actually give him the ball because there's nobody else to throw to, unless Bo Nix wants to keep taking checkdowns.
Hey, Franklin helped me in fantasy last year. He was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Every third game.
That's the thing. It's we have a receiver step up every third game, which I guess in theory is okay. And Sean Payton's never really had a number one. Michael Thomas was, but he was also just kind of a unicorn, a giant slot receiver. So
he had number ones back in the day, man. Like Marcus Colston.
Yeah, but they were all giant slot receivers. I feel like they weren't true outside.
Yeah, they really had just three because they had Meacham, Colston, and who else was the other guy? They just had 3, I guess, really good number twos.
And he always had a tight end
and
running backs. And in Denver, he's trying to recreate that with R.J. Harvey. And again, Dobbins, if he's healthy, he's good, but he's always hurt. So I don't know. We'll see. Spencer says 29 next year, A.J. Brown will be in his prime the next 2 years and helping you compete for a Super Bowl, which justifies the 2 first. And I always say we can wrap up on this and get a break in, talk ECU next, but the Commanders are in the spot, Denver's in the spot, I guess Carolina is technically still in the spot when you have your rookie quarterback deal. You do have to try to go for it then because history shows I think Mahomes is the only quarterback who has made the Super Bowl and won it when he's eaten up like 30% of the cap or something like that. So that is a valid – like you kind of have to go for it now if you're the Commanders, Broncos, and I guess Panthers.
Yeah, Tom Brady, I know did, but I don't think his cap hit was that high because
he kept restructuring.
Yeah, he kept restructuring, and then obviously his wife at the time, they didn't have to take in as much money because she was probably making more than he was. But you're right. That I was panicking for a little bit with the Commanders early in free agency because I was like, hey, this is the time to now attack. I understood sitting out a little bit last year trying to run it back, but obviously – there were flaws on that roster, and you're now third year into that window. Like, that window is starting to close. Carolina, this is what, your last year with it until the fifth year kicks in?
But, a fifth-year kick-in is not going to be 30% of the cap.
What does Bryce Young have to do this year to be worth investing in a long-term deal? Because, I feel like that is such a – even if he goes out and he's just slightly above average and takes him to the playoffs, is it worth giving him a mega quarterback contract? Because that's what they're going to have to do to re-sign him probably. Because somebody will.
I guess somebody would, because that's the tough thing. You don't want to let him go if he does do that, and then you've got to restart because somebody else overpaid him. But I don't know, man. I think if you're Carolina, you either hope you win. You hope there's a 13 and a 4. Whatever order they're in, if they're 4-13 or 13-4, you're good. Anything in between puts you in a tough spot.
Davy Jones says the NFL is the least predictable sports league in the nation. Who predicted Seattle versus New England in the Super Bowl? And that's what makes the NFL great.
Well, the NFL did, if you look at their image
that
they
true.
pushed out. Yeah.
So maybe it was scripted all along. But it does feel like the most fair sports league.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess unless you're a Browns or Jets fan, then it's kind of tough. But
and sitting in misery.
Yeah. All right, we got to get a break in. We'll come back. We'll talk ECU football. We got a spring football practice schedule. We'll run that down at some point in the show. Also, we'll talk ECU safeties next, our final ECU position preview. We may do special teams next week as well, but our final better, worse, even discussion comparing this year's room to last year's. That next after this.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
The Pirates play here.
Time to play the game!
This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Segment 2, Hoist the Colors on a Friday big sports weekend ahead. Remind me, guys, for the end of the show, Jansen Kidd, our buddy, he says Bobby is familiar with this debate, but if you had to pick one to build around right now, I'm not calling him BY9. Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, who you picking? We got to have that debate. Maybe segment 4. What a terrible argument. And I guess you've done this debate. So
I have. There's actually another one, too. I don't know if y'all have seen, if we have time. But you can only watch List A or List B for the rest of your life, and it's different sporting events under each category.
We may have to do that. All right, let's do this ECU safety discussion so we can try to get to at least one of those. We've been doing better, worse, even. Bob, you've done one or two of these. I know. I can't remember what positions, but this is our final one, at least for the defense. Safeties, I'll run through this real quick. And if you haven't been following along, what we've been doing is kind of debating is the position room in a better, worse, or even spot than how the season ended last year. So departures from this past season, you've got two significant ones. Jamarly Riddle, obviously tremendous player, first team all-conference, 13 games started. 730 snaps, 70 tackles, 4 TFLs, 3 picks. Really good safety in run defense, above average in coverage, grades out at a 69.0. Nice PFF grade with a 76.5 run defense mark, 63.4 in coverage. Tegan Wilk, one of the biggest surprises of last year. 13 games, comes back from Houston, starts them all, 639 snaps. He posted a 66.5 PFF grade, 82.5 run defense grade, 59.4 in coverage. 2 tackles for loss, 54 tackles overall, forced fumble recovery, really good safety. Those guys played almost basically all your snaps as safety. We'll get into that more in a minute outside of a few guys. Ladarian Polk, he's also graduated. 10 games, 59 snaps as a reserve. He moves on. He was a backup special teams guy last year. Bernard Lackey Jr. transferred. Left the program, was not a factor. He was a legacy guy, just didn't work out. I don't even know where he is now, but he is gone. Notable returners, Aiden Duncanson and Kamari McKinley are back. Duncanson played 13 games as your top reserve safety, 271 snaps, 33 tackles, targeted 13 times, 6 catches allowed, 2 pass breakups, 56.9 PFF grade, and his real first ever action. He actually graded out better in coverage than run defense. Kamari McKinley, both these guys, by the way, going into their redshirt junior year, they've been in the program. He played in 10 games a year ago, 179 snaps. He played his most snaps in the BYU and the bowl game after the injury to Riddle and Wilk. He finished with a 58.8 PFF grade, 65.6 run defense, 60 in coverage. Also back is Demarius Hines, who was actually competing for the starting boundary safety position, suffered a knee injury in camp, and Tegan Wilk ended up taking that job. He missed the whole season, so he medically redshirted. He is back. DJ Spear, a redshirt freshman they're high on, he's also coming off an injury to his shoulder, but he is back as well. Incoming transfers, the big one, Zaire Gamble out of App State, full-time starter with the Mountaineers, 12 games, 787 snaps, 76 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, 70.4 PFF grade. Really good in run defense, really good in coverage. Major addition. Pirates also added Miles Pollard from memphis. He missed last year with an injury too. He played corner at Michigan, transferred to Memphis with Jordan Hankins and came to ECU from Memphis. So obviously Hankins liked what he saw when Pollard was on the field. And then the Pirates also signed 2 high school safeties who are in camp now, DJ McClendon and David Coleman Jr. So a lot of information, as always, there, guys. Better, worse, even, safety position. We'll start, Bobby, your initial thoughts.
This is one of the easiest ones for me. I mean, I think it's worse. I think that's the obvious answer here. One, you're losing, in my opinion, the best safety to play at East Carolina. I am curious if some Pirate lifers disagree with that or have some other names. But in my opinion, he's, from a talent perspective and arguably production, he's the best safety we've had at this university. I know Van Eskridge gets a lot of love, and I think he was tremendous, but I don't think he was quite on the level of Riddle.
He was almost like a linebacker playing safety. He was just so physical.
Yeah, and he made a lot of, big-time memorable plays and that sort of deal. But overall, talent-wise, I think Riddle's the best one we've had, and I'm just very grateful. Again, I think he handled the transfer portal process the right way. The fact we even got him for 2 years surprised me after seeing him play as a freshman. And then you have Tegan Wilk. Was a little unsure going into the year what to expect from him coming back in from Houston. But to me, I would argue as a duo, this may be the most production we've had from the safety position ever, at least in my memory. So you're losing those 2 guys. I say all that to say I don't think this room is in bad shape. Like, I don't think it's in dire need of additions or anything like that. Like, you have 2 experienced guys, as you mentioned, that can come in and fill. They got their feet wet last year. They got some playing experience. Seems like Duncanson has found a home at safety. I know he was at a corner at Carolina, kind of started at corner here. Now has found a home at safety. And then I love the addition of Gamble. I think he's going to be a ball player, and I think he's going to make some noise in the back end. But, again, he's not that level of what Jamari Riddle is. So I'm going to say worse.
Fair takes. Philip, you got anything to add?
I mean, not really. I mean, it's worse. It's no disrespect to anybody who's in the room, but when you lose 2 guys who start all 13 games, who, like Bobby said, might be the best duo we've ever had, like, worse by default, right?
I think this is probably, the easiest position I think we've had, maybe outside of quarterback, just because of the unprovenness of the quarterbacks. I think you've got to go worse. I do agree with you guys that, this room is still very solid. You kind of have the ideal progression, it seems like, from Aiden Duncanson and Kamari McKinley, that they've been in the program now 3 years, or 2 years in Duncanson's case, 3 years in McKinley. Now it's time for them to play. The question I have is Demarius Hines. You just never know coming off a serious knee injury, but they loved him going into last year. So if he can get back to just being a guy, even if he doesn't play all the snaps, obviously just coming off an injury, being the guy they thought he was last preseason, really physical downhill safety. If he can become the guy they think he can become, you get some solid play from Duncanson and McKinley, and Gamble is the guy that they expect him to be, then I think this is a very good room. I just don't know if it'll be as good as last year. And Pollard is interesting. He was a 4-star at Michigan, played a bunch of corner there. Again, he's coming off an injury too, but he's long, 6'2", 190. Maybe he adds a different coverage element. So I like the room. It's just I think you have to go worse. But, I mean, this is the first position on defense where I'm like, it's worse just based off how it finished. But I think the defense overall, as we've done these previews, is going to be in good shape. But I don't know if you've listened to all of them, but I just like what they've done in the portal and through progression.
Yeah, it's hard to question what Blake Harrell's done since he's been here because, I did that personally the first few years, especially in the D-line room, and 2 years ago when we had to replace all those guys that had been here. But he seems to have found the right combination and fit, whatever that may be, from a personality perspective and a scheme perspective. He gets guys that are just plug and play. They're ball players. I love the fact that he's okay with getting undersized guys that are overlooked because of their size and are just straight up ballers. Middle linebackers that come in are undersized, but they just have a knack for finding the football. D linemen that are disciplined in their responsibility. They play team football by maintaining their gap and their responsibility rather than trying to make the play. And the issue here, and it will always be that, is finding elite corners. And, we got lucky with Revel and McMillan before that, but that's what all that development is for. And, I think even some of the guys that we played last year, you could see over time and throughout the season did develop and improve. And then the safety, again, you just mentioned it, the development from Duncanson and McKinley, that's exactly what you want in a program, and that's how you build and sustain.
Somebody brings up a good point. How about Damon Magza? You were on staff, and he's coaching the room now. What do you think about where he ranks amongst that all-time safety list? He's got to be up there.
Oh, he's 100% up there. I think athletically, and he would say this.
Yeah, he'd be the first to admit it, right?
Yeah, he would be the first. I got to talk to Damon after the bowl game, and that was cool catching up with him and just hearing a little bit behind the scenes in terms of their strategy going into the bowl game and stuff. But, he probably made one of the most memorable plays in Pirate football history, and he was just a flat-out baller. He kind of fits under that category that I was just talking about that Blake likes to recruit.
Yeah.
Not as the most athletic guy, not the biggest guy, but just has a knack for playing football. Obviously, he was a coach's son, but he is up there for sure. He's definitely top 5, if not top 3, but it's hard to, just from a talent perspective, put him number 1 over Riddle. I think he would also say, I don't know if he would have been able to play at UGA.
Terry also adding Julius Wood. That's a good pick because I feel like Julius was a freak of nature. He was kind of forgotten because his best season was during the 2-10 year, and so as a result, I think he was kind of a forgotten man. But I think he's still in the league, so he's a freak of nature as well, and definitely a really good pick. All right, better, worse, even. Davy Jones wants to know ECU football win-loss total next season. So I guess obviously ECU went 9-4. I'm gonna say even.
Yeah.
Better.
All right.
I'm going to say better.
Third 10-win season in program history?
I think we get there. Because I could see us winning 9 for sure in the regular season. And to me, it's hard to say 8 is disappointing, but based upon our schedule, a lot of it obviously depends. We've talked about this before. How does the quarterback and the offense click? I have confidence in the defense. How does that click? But I think we can at least win 9 in the regular season and maybe get that 10th in the bowl win. But honestly, I see 10 in the regular season.
Robert says Jamarli Riddle, in his opinion, was more important to keep than Hauser because Hauser was more replaceable. I think it's an interesting comment. I do think, obviously, quarterback, the most important position on the field. It's hard to get that guy. But I would say, the level that Riddle and the upside Riddle brings to the table is I do wonder how he's going to do in the SEC just because he is kind of slight of stature and has a big boy league, but he's just really fast and really good. So.
See, my thing is with that comment is how many Caton Hausers are there out there? I think there is enough to get one at ECU. I don't think there's enough Jamarli Riddles out there where every team above us is going to have one. Right. Therefore, we also have one by default. So, I mean, now, importance of replacement may be different because quarterback is such a more important position, but just straight up, is it easier to replace Caton or Jamarli? 100% agree with that comment. Jamarli is way harder to replace at a school like ECU.
And you think about it, too, I mean, every SEC school needs at least 2 starting safeties, whereas quarterback, obviously only one can play at a time.
Think of how many, and quarterback might be the exception to the offensive side of things, but we always talk about, college offenses are better than college defense. There's a reason quarterbacks get to the NFL and they freak out when the defensive players are as good as they are. There's not that many good college defensive players.
All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, we will talk about the World Baseball Classic a little bit. We also got to discuss ECU baseball in action this weekend. Women's basketball is a win away from going to the conference tournament championship game. We'll discuss that as well. And our ECU spring practice football schedule is here. We'll share what we can from that. This is Hoist the Colors.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown. At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Get ready to board.
We're live with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game. Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
All right, welcome back in Hoist the Colors on a Friday. Let's run through some of these topics as much as we can. Davy Jones saying, I cannot see how any Group of 5 team could have a better quarterback combo than East Carolina will have next year. We'll see. I mean, USF spent some money. I'm sure Boise State, some of these schools spent some money. Memphis, we'll see how it all shakes out. We do have a spring practice football schedule. Spring practice will begin next Wednesday. Malcolm Gray sending this out. Now, I can't share the whole schedule because it is for media purposes only, but I can tell you guys that we are scheduled to hear from Blake Harrell often. Pro Day will be March 24th, which is a couple weeks away. And we are scheduled. Bobby Harvard today in studio, by the way, brought to you by Sup Dogs. And Philip Pilkin alongside. We are scheduled, gentlemen, to talk to the coordinators. Circle this on your calendar. April 6th, week 4 of spring practice, April 6th, Monday. And we will confirm their existence. Are you guys excited? Because we've been asked about this quite a bit. Will the schedule change between now and then? Probably, but that's what we got.
Hey, at least you get to talk to them. I'm kind of surprised you haven't been able to yet with both of them being new. But, yeah, this is kind of, I'm assuming, is there like a pre-media day, like pre-spring practice media day type deal where you get introduced to them at all or no?
Doesn't look like it. Does not look like it. Now, we will have, according to the schedule as well, like kind of a mini media day towards the end of spring practice where we get to talk to every assistant coach, which I'm a huge fan of in Town Bank Tower. And that'll be a good report to kind of get towards the end of spring practice. So I like that addition. Hopefully it sticks. So looking forward to that. There's your spring practice schedule update. Spring game, April 18th, Dowdy Ficklin Stadium. Women's basketball tonight, gentlemen. Pirates taking on UTSA. Now, it says tip-off schedule for 9. There's also a women's game between Rice and North Texas scheduled for 7. So that means that this game will not start at least until 9:30 probably.
Oh, ESPN has 9:30.
Then that is, there you go.
Yeah.
Theirs is realistic. ECU's listing probably a little hopium there. But yeah, 9:30 Eastern, likely the start time. ECU UTSA, a win away from going to the conference championship, Phillip, for the third time in 4 seasons.
Yeah, this is a huge opportunity, and Rice is playing in that first game. Rice did only lose one regular season game, but it was that season finale to UTSA, and look, they lost to Rice at home this year in a heartbreaking fashion. I was in the post-game press conference with Coach Kim and with Ajane, and look, obviously they set a goal for themselves this year, and that's to make the NCAA tournament. That is what matters. But they want to see Rice again. You could tell Coach Kim even walked in and said, we're going to see him again. And you can tell, it's going to be that much sweeter if they're able to beat Rice tomorrow, I think, than just beating anybody else. I mean, obviously in the heat of the moment, going to the NCAA tournament is going to the NCAA tournament, right? But that's who they want. It's the same thing with the U.S. and Canada and hockey, right? We wanted to win the gold, but at the end of the day, beating those maple syrup people were a lot better than just beating the Czechs or the Finnish or the Swedes. So, just hey, man, I want to beat Japan or the DR. I don't want to beat anybody else in the World Baseball Classic final.
What about Italy?
We'd have to beat them to get to the final. I do want payback for Italy, man. I'm kind of pulling for Italy against Puerto Rico tomorrow if we do beat Canada tonight.
By the way, don't sleep on the Roadrunners. Women's basketball, I was doing some research. They have gotten some of their best players back, and they are good in the paint, which is not exactly ECU's strong suit. Kind of a contrast in styles here. Cheyenne Rowe, 14.1 points per game, 8.8 boards per game. Idara Udo, 9.3 points per game, 7.6 rebounds per game. Neither of them played in the first meeting between ECU and UTSA, which ECU won in San Antonio by 7. So, Pirates, they like to get up and down. They shoot the ball well this year, and they're going to try and score 4 steals. UTSA is going to try to slow it down, do work in the paint. So, Bobby, are you going to be able to stay up tonight, man? Are you going to try?
I will. I actually think I'm going to hang out with some buddies and watch the USA game, so maybe I'll pull it up on my phone. My question to both of you is Rice good enough to make an at-large bid? I mean, I see their record is 27-4. I don't know the quality of their opponents here.
Nah, I think their net's too
low at last check, and I would assume that they lost to they are down to 63 in the net. They are 22-2 versus quad 4. So
it will be a one-bid league.
Yes, it'll be a one-bid league.
Yeah, that sucks, though. I feel bad for them.
They're good.
You do that, you deserve to get in. They are good. It's like the Miami of Ohio conversation going on right now.
I saw someone say if you want to make a lot of money, CBS or whoever, I guess it's Turner Sports, play-in game on that Tuesday night, Auburn versus Miami of Ohio in that play-in round.
Bet that is specifically the game?
The game, just because all the back and forth between Auburn and Miami, criticizing, and then the Miami athletic director coming back.
Yeah.
ECU is hosting UPenn this weekend in a 3-game series. Pirates should be favored here, although UPenn can pitch quite a bit. They are 2-8, but they hung with Texas A&M, had some close games against Mercer. So I think ECU is going to have to pitch well, which they should. Penn's hitting 206 as a team. And granted, they have not been able to play a whole lot of games, get into a rhythm. But this is the series, hopefully, Bobby, the Pirates continue to take care of, because we kind of laid it out. The schedule lightened up after Coastal, and I think we're seeing ECU kind of build some confidence as a result.
Yeah, I think this week was a really a true get-right game for the Bats, and you hope this weekend is a get-right series for the arms, and specifically the bullpen. I know there's been some inconsistencies there. Hopefully these pitchers can go into their outing with confidence, and hopefully that turns into production, and then they can get it rolling here, because once this team clicks, you see glimpses of it. This is a super talented baseball team. They just need everything to mesh together. Now obviously you want this to happen later in the season than earlier, but still you want to see confidence starting to build and trust in some of those relief arms.
I think there's pressure on the pitchers this week. Like we mentioned, this Quakers team can pitch really well, but they don't hit the ball well. If you give them free runs, your offense is going to be in a tough spot. So I think, the pressure's kind of been on the hitters to get their stuff together. It seems like they have. So maybe this is a good time to be playing this team to challenge those pitchers and challenge the defense, who has been better of late, but just say, hey, you know what, you guys are going to have to go out there, you're going to have to throw strikes, you have to find a way to win these baseball games, because it might be, 4-2 type games.
All right, Lane has asked this a couple of times, so I just looked it up. He wants to know how are the pitchers doing that left ECU and Bristol Carter. So Bristol Carter for Auburn's having an awesome start to the year. He's batting .457 with 2 homers, 11 RBI. Also already has 15 stolen bases. So Bristol having a great year after a pretty subpar sophomore season at Auburn, so good for Bristol. Bradley Zayak is at Liberty now. Through 4 games, he is, let's see here, he's got a 1.31 ERA, 2-0, 20.2 innings, 21 strikeouts, 5 walks, so he's pitching good for the Flames. Lance Williams is at Maryland now. He is 1-1 with a 5.49 ERA, 19 2/3 innings, 26 Ks against 6 walks, but he has given up 4 home runs, some loud contact. He started off good, and then he gave up 8 runs to Wagner and gave up 4 runs to our good friends at Troy last week. And then our buddy Jaden Winter is at Charlotte. He has made 4 appearances, 3 innings, 5 runs allowed, 15 ERA, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks. So I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. But
who's at Georgia?
Brad Pruitt.
Yeah.
Let me look that one up as well. He did take a loss earlier this year, we know.
Yeah, he took a loss to Troy in the midweek.
Hey, Western Carolina, that loss is looking better.
Oh, no, that's right. It was Western Carolina. That's who he lost.
No, he lost to Troy. You were correct. And then Western Carolina beat Georgia after we lost.
That's
and
right.
Made us feel better. Yeah.
Did back-to-back win. Yeah, it was Sunday, Tuesday. Yeah.
Bradley Pruitt, 6 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 10 Ks, 6 walks, 0-1 with a 6 ERA, and he just pitched a scoreless inning against Queens. So that's where he is. So kind of a middle relief midweek guy, or late in and midweek guy for Georgia. So there's your update on that. I tell you what, let's get our break in. We'll come back. We'll talk World Baseball Classic and also try and answer the scenario that was posed to us earlier in the show by Jansen Kidd. Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud? Who would you rather start a franchise with? We'll discuss that more to wrap up the show after this.
Get ready to bring on the savings at Greenville Toyota with major deals on brand new Toyotas like a Camry, $229 a month, or RAV4, $279 a month. Now's your turn to save at Greenville Toyota.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Your future is full of possibilities, and Pitt Community College can help you explore every option. You can earn a degree, learn a trade, transfer to a university, or launch a new career. We offer the support you need to succeed with flexible schedules, affordable tuition, and programs designed for the real world. Your path, your future, your college. Pitt Community College. Register now.
Bring on the savings with new Toyotas from $159 a month at Greenville Toyota. Get huge discounts like Corolla's $159 a month or Tacoma's $249 a month. Save today at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Loyal and bold, we're the purple and golds.
Yo ho ho!
And we're back to Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors, final segment here. I forgot to mention, by the way, we were running through the ECU sport events. ECU softball, huge series this weekend. They're on the road at FAU, one of the top teams in the league every year, and they're coming off a series win over Wichita State, ECU is. So, big weekend for Shane Winkler's team. If they go down there and still won, you feel good. If they win the series, you feel great. It's a huge weekend in Boca for the Lady Pirates in softball. All right, World Baseball Classic continues tonight. U.S., Canada. It's winner go home, single elimination. Logan Webb on the mound versus Soroka. You've also got Korea against Dominican Republic. Chris Sanchez trying to respond from a terrible start in his opening. And then you got Ryu. Hyun-Yun Ryu. Has he pitched in the majors in years? Last time pitching in the majors, 23. I wonder if he's been pitching in Korea. So that'll be a good one. Then Saturday, Puerto Rico, Italy. Lugo going for Italy. Or excuse me, Puerto Rico. And then Aldergiri from the Angels organization going for Italy, Venezuela, Japan, Ranger, Suarez, and Yamamoto. So what are y'all looking forward to with the WBC?
All of it.
Yeah.
I mean, those are 4 great matchups.
Who wins? Y'all sticking with your original prediction?
I'm sticking with my original prediction, but yeah, I mean, oh my goodness. I mean, I guess technically on paper the worst matchup's the first game today because it's DR against Korea, but I am not sleeping on this Korea team. And those guys are KBO All-Stars. Yeah, this is a good roster that Korea has.
It's my turn. Sorry, I was reading. I am going to be distraught. If the United States blows it tonight because we beat Canada in their own sport, and if they come back and beat us in our sport,
if we lose to Canada, it's going to be pretty bad.
It's going to be.
As much as I love Josh Naylor, I do not want to see him beating the U.S. tonight.
But I like. I know there's Canada's throwing Soroka, but he's kind of been really moved into a relief role since his Achilles injuries that he had because he, I think, tore it twice. The second time being in his recovery process for the first one. But, dude, just to watch good, like the energy in Miami should be electric, I think. That's what I'm most looking forward to. And then in the first game, I want to see how Italy does against some other quality competition because outside of the United States, Mexico was okay, but that just our pool was not great.
I'm looking at the bracket now, Philip. Italy's on the opposite side for the semis, so I guess if they win, they could face Japan or Venezuela, and it could be Italy, U.S. in the championships. I don't really understand why they did that.
Did they do it by seeding?
I don't know.
I thought the way it worked, like your pool was paired because they said that the U.S. could not face Japan or the DR until the championship. I thought it's our pool and whatever pool we're paired with, and then the other pools were. That doesn't sound right. I'm going to look this up.
The bracket I'm looking at has U.S. and DR, Korea, and Canada all on one side, unless they reseed it again.
But that would make sense because both are playing today, and then the others are playing tomorrow, and then the winner of this game gets a semifinal game on Sunday, vice versa. Yeah. Which it actually works in our advantage because we get a day off from the other semifinal game going into the final next Tuesday. If we don't screw up here and take things for granted.
Yeah, Mark DeRosa, play your best players and don't assume anything. All right, Jansen Kids question. Bobby's familiar with this debate, but if you had to pick one to build around right now, Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, who are you picking? So, Bobby, since you've already done this debate, who do you got?
Oh, man.
It's a terrible debate.
It is an awful one because I'd like to pick neither. Bryce has been playing – the trajectories of these guys have just gone in opposite directions, which makes it difficult. How much, though, I'm wondering from like a pure tools standpoint, I think I still prefer C.J. Stroud. I'm wondering how much he was just screwed up. One, there were some issues with the offensive coordinator and Bobby Slowak, his second year there, and they got rid of him and they brought in a new offensive coordinator. That offense also dealt with some injuries. You had a Mixon, that Joe Mixon got hurt and was out. He was a big part of their offensive plan. I'm going blank on the daggum fantastic receiver's name with Houston. Good golly.
Tank Dell or the other one?
No, it wasn't Dell. It was somebody.
No, I'm blanking on it.
But regardless, I know he's had some injury issues. Tank Dell's had injury.
Nico
Collins, thank you. So they've had some injury stuff there. Obviously, Stephon Diggs was there year prior. He's not the easiest person to work with in the world. So I think there's a lot more turmoil going around. He's had more talent nonetheless. Carolina, they haven't had quite the talent unless XL pans out here. But I think T-Mac's the real deal.
I think Stroud is who I would go with as well. He's won playoff games. Maybe at times the Texans have won in spite of him. But he's getting Tank Dell back. He's getting Nico Collins back. Their offensive line is not good as well. People forget it was just like knife through hot butter last year. So, hot knife through butter. Is that how the saying goes?
Hot knife through butter.
Hot knife through butter. There you go. I'm going Stroud.
Yeah, I'm going Stroud. He can see over his offensive line. He's been more consistent. Also, yeah, you were right, Steven. We are on the same half of the bracket. The way I read the bracket early was completely wrong. I thought they did the pairings. I didn't realize it was this whacked up. Like I thought it was like, I don't know. I thought like group whatever we were in and the group that Canada was in was paired together, and then we would stay on that half.
That would have made sense.
Yeah,
but, we always got to make things complicated.
Stupid.
We're out of time, Bobby. Thank you. Thanks to Sup Dogs for sponsoring the show. Appreciate Philip as well. We'll be back Monday, 12 noon, to break it all down. We'll see you then.